are getting back into it with the LAS-7 Daggers handle. So let's see, let's maybe bevel this edge here, because I think that should be a little rounder. So we're going to select, well, let's get in edges mode with 2, and then Alt left click on that edge, and then we can bevel a wee bit, make that nice and round. Let's reduce how many times it's going to bevel. Maybe there. Looks okay. And then I think this could use a little bevel as well. Just a little bit there. And maybe this area. Let's not do that one. And not that, and not that. But these areas could use a little bevel. It's just a little more comfortable grip there. And, this is kind of ugly, but it'll probably do. Let's bevel here too. It's interesting, but that's a transition point. Shouldn't matter too much. I wonder if I could clean this up a little bit. Control Z. Then I'm thinking, we could maybe subdivide these. Let's see how that looks. And we'll Control V to slide these down here-ish. Let's get these back up because I want kind of a straightish line here. Let's turn snap off. I want a little more control. Control V, or Shift V actually. Right? Yeah. V, and we'll push those up a bit. And then we'll get rid of this. So that just looks so messy. And let's fill that in. And I wonder if we could just fill this face. And then maybe we can see how many vertices this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wonder if we should give this one also another subdivision, then we'll link that over there. We can actually do that now. Let's get the face here. And you know what? It was 5. Let's go ahead and give it 6 subdivisions. And then we'll take this edge, delete that, and then we will take these, and let's exclude those with our C select, and then Shift left click, right click, bridge those edges, and I think that looks a lot cleaner than it did at least, and we're missing a face over here. It's okay. Just fill that in with F, and I wonder if we can straighten these out somehow. Wonder what smoothing will do. Oh, that ain't not bad. That ain't not bad. Hmm. Can we just leave it like that? I'd say it's fine. It's fine. Adds a little character. Let's move on. So we got that going. We got this. And what else do we need? Let's hide this for a moment with H and the trigger 2. Hiding. And what else don't we have? Because it seems like everything else is kind of on top of it, sandwiching it. So that might even be, well, there's whatever this is. Let's see if we have another shot of that. Maybe on this. Oh no. I don't think that's a switch. I think it's just kind of a marking of some kind. It doesn't look like writing. It just looks like a little divot. Maybe some kind of comfort thing. I'm not even sure, but we'll put that in there. So we're going to go into edit mode here. Let's go into X-ray mode. This one. And I think that's it. Let me hide. Oops. Hide that. Yeah. So it's basically a rectangle. So I'm going to hit Shift right click to put our 3D cursor right here. And then I'm going to hit Shift A. And then we're going to bring up a plane. And I'm going to rotate this along the x-axis 90 degrees. Then we'll shrink it down with S and then Z. Turn it into our rectangle. S again to scale it up a bit. And then oh, good. It's already a different object. All right. So we'll go ahead and knife project it. So let's get the handle in edit mode, and then we will control left click on the plane we just made. It's going to be a hassle, so I'll just select it over here. Control left click, and then mesh, knife project, and not cut through, just on the surface here. And we can go ahead and get rid of this. I don't think we'll ever need that again. And then we'll take this and then we'll extrude it. It's already going along this axis, which is fine. And then we'll shrink it with S to scale it down. And then we'll go ahead and bevel those edges. So in edge mode, which is 2, we'll right click, bevel those edges. Just like that. Now we have our own little rectangular bit there. Just a little extra detail. I think with that, we've completed our handle, or as much as I can see to do at the moment, because I'm pretty sure this will be the next piece, and then we'll figure out how to put the barrel and the sights and flashlight or laser thing on there in a minute. So I guess we're going to try doing this next. So let's get our handle back. So this is going to fit right over here. So in order for that to fit, let's go ahead and duplicate this with Shift D, and then we'll hit P, separate selection, turn it into our own thing. And let's go ahead and call this, I guess we'll call this just main, as the main part of the gun, as opposed to the handle. And then we can call the yellow thing the barrel. And so in order to get this to fit, we're going to need to be 0.5 millimeters larger on all sides. So here, I hit G, and we have our edge links on. You can activate that up here. So we can see the edge links, and we're going to hit G and Y. And this is 14, so we need to go up to 14.5. So that's a nice snug fit there. And then we also need to go out this way a bit. So I'm going to have that there. There, I just extruded a vertice and snapped it back to that point. So that way it should stay there when we hit G, X, and then move it along the X-axis 0.5 millimeters, just like that. So now that is 0.5 out from this face and this face, so it should be able to, the main part should be able to fit over this nice and snug. So we can extend that now. That vertex, that loose vertice that we have selected, we can go ahead and pull that. Wonder if this will be part of the barrel or part of this part, or maybe even its own separate piece. But either way, GX, I think it ends around here-ish. Should be okay. And then we also have to lift it. So let's do that. So I'm going to hit E to extrude a vertice and then right click to snap it back there. And I'm going to select these two edges. And we're going to get G, Z, grab, and then move along the Z axis. And then we're going to go up 0.5 millimeters. Yeah, that way it can fit up in there real nice. And then we can take this, and I think we can go over this guy. Let's go ahead and get snap on right over here, because I think that covers it. Because there's the round part, and this covers almost the entire thing. Like it just pokes out just the tiniest bit, just to be visible. That's about it. And then this cover goes over that. So I'm going to hit period to zoom back in on what we had here. And we're going to go up 0.5 millimeters. So this is 24.4. So we need 23.9. So that should be good. And then I think it's extrude and then GX. And then it ends basically there-ish. That way this little bit will stick out just that tiny bit. And then I think it goes down just a touch to kind of grab hold of this. So we're extrude and then along the Z axis. Got that. You know what? Maybe we should go into X-ray mode. There we go. So now we can see exactly where that needs to go. Let's turn snap off here. Let's go down just a teeny bit more, and then we will extrude along the X, moving it back over here, and then extruding up here, and then it looks like it curves a bit. So I'm going to extrude up to this point, and then extrude again over here. And with that, we can bevel this, subdivide it here, and then put that point around here-ish, and then we can bevel this vertex to be about that curvature. I feel like we should pull it out a bit. Try that again. Feels like it needs to be moved forward a little bit more. So I'm going to Control Z to undo and then push that a bit forward. And we'll try again. No, we'll set it right there. You know what? We got these two overlapping each other, so let's go ahead and auto merge them. Actually, let's get that one that overlaps. Oh, and get snap back on and snap, and that's auto merged on, so that's all one piece there. All right, so that should be that. And what is this? This square bit. See, this is why all these reference images are so useful. Okay, so that comes out and kind of slants forward. Interesting, and it seems to terminate around there. Okay, okay. Alright, so getting back on this guy, let's move this forward a bit, and then we can use this to extrude and go straight down. That might be a bevel. So we'll go over here, right click and then G, X to move this over here. Let's get this lined up right here. And we'll just put a face on those two. And it did seem like it rose up. So let's hit E and then go along the Y-axis. Let's turn off snap for a little greater control. Like that. And then we will seal these faces up with edges in edges mode. So now we got that little rampy bit. And That's gonna be kind of awkward to print, actually. Let's take a look at that again. Hmm. So, because if we print it like we have it now, this is going to be really, really small, and having to go out to this nothingness over here might be an issue. Hmm. One thing we could do is let's get rid of these edges and let's raise this up just a wee bit. I got that edge, G, extruding, G, and then along the y-axis, let's say 1.5 millimeters. That way it has a nice surface to plant on without having to worry about these sharp, sharp edges that might not print all that well considering the direction we're probably going to end up printing. That should be fine. Alright, so then I think this protrudes outward a bit. Has like a slant in it. So we're going to take this and we're going to hit... Actually, let's see how many points we can extrude. Ba-bum. Where's a good look at that? So all of this basically protrudes a bit. Getting into X-ray mode. So I think this. These are those insidey bits, though. This also. You know, we could probably... Let's get rid of that edge. And you know what we'll do? We'll Shift D on this to duplicate it, G, Y. Then I want to get this point as our active and hit L on this to select everything it's attached to. And then we'll pull it out just to here. So I'm going to G, Y, and then turn snap lock on, G, Y, and snap it to this vertex here. That way this doesn't seem so alone, and we pulled everything out just a wee bit. And then we can get these edge loops. Yeah, basically. Edges, get rid of that one in there. And then we can right click and bridge these edge loops. They made that bit of thickness. And then I think we should go out just once more to create that slant right here. So, that doesn't seem like the right place for it. Oh, well, this isn't perfectly aligned. That's okay. That's okay. So we'll just mimic this line, which is about-ish here-ish. There's that slant. Let's see where it needs to be. Let's put it around here. Where is that? You know what? Let's just line it up with this guy. That works. And these are on the same plane, are they not? They are not. Unfortunate. Does that matter? Is it going to matter? Difficult to say. Let's see, how far back does that slanty bit go? Oh, it goes almost all the way to that butt piece there. And then it seems to go pretty straight up from there. It's got some thickness to it. I feel like it's too far out. Let's take it in just a bit. Yeah. Okay, alright, alright, alright. And maybe we can extrude here, like so, and go up to this point. So we got that going. Then should we not have filled in these faces, I wonder? Right, so how does that back area look? So it looks like there's some bit here that's slanting backwards and then connecting with this back part there. So we might not actually be worrying about that right yet. It looks like it covers that some. Okay, so I'm going to hit period on the numpad, zip back over to what we're doing. So it seems like it'll come over here. I E to extrude, G, and then let's hit the center point. And then we can go up. And let's just snap it over here. Let's see. And then it has this whole thing going on. Can actually switch over to this one. Hitting period again. Let's see, so maybe this goes down here, because it looks like this kind of protrudes out to the side. But it's there. You can take this, maybe, actually let's subdivide that. And then maybe we can make that slanted area, like so. And maybe it goes back in. X, hit these edges, fill that in. We might not need those. So I kind of want to fill this in. Let's hide this for a second. Oh, let's hide the handle as well. So it goes in here and upwards. So it seems to go in a bit. It's G, Y. And it seems like it went over too far. So I'm gonna G, Y, just snap it on this one instead. Then we'll go downward. And then extrude over here. That angle seems a bit off. It's more like this. So let's get these snapped. I don't think we need that one. Then we have all this protrusion happening. But I want to clear up this face first. So let's put a face over here. Like that seems alright. And then we have this shape. Let's go up, over, G, Y, and then extrude Z. Extrude, snapping over here. Extruding again, and then let's go back to the middle by snapping that over here. So that, I think, is more or less that shape. It's not exactly the same, but I think it will do. And then we can take this shape here, and then we'll duplicate. I think duplicate is the way to go there. And it kind of sticks out beyond this ramp. So we'll put it about there. And let's go ahead and get the center point with E. Extrude, snapping over there. And we'll start putting faces on it here. Face. Need that edge. Face. 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 Oop. None of those. Face. Face. And a face and one more. There. Okay, so now we got that part going more or less. And let's go ahead and do the back. Let's just finish this up. Looks kind of like the backs of two bullets or something. Let's select these. And then we'll put a face over it. And now we will get, selecting this edge, I'm going to hit F3 and put cursor at active so we get it right there. Now we need some circles. So I'm going to go into object mode because I want these to be separate. Mesh circles. And let's rotate along the y-axis at 90 degrees. Drag it up here, and that'll be good. Oop. Let's change our pivot point to median point and enlarge that circle just a bit. And then in edit mode, I'm going to shift D to duplicate, and then we'll create another circle about that big. And I think that will do it for those. Trying to scale it in my mind to see if that's about the size. I feel like the outer circle needs to be a bit smaller. So I'll scale that down a bit. Just a bit. And then with both of them selected, I'm going to Shift D and then grab Z and drag it down there. Let's get rid of the edge loop so we can see this a bit more clearly. And we kind of want to put it in a central location. So I'm thinking maybe just a little higher, maybe a little lower on this one. So it's kind of in the middle of these faces. Are they equal? These faces that we have created. They don't look equal. Like this one seems shorter than this one. And in fact, this gap seems larger than that gap. I wonder why. It looks like it terminates there, and this one also terminates there. Is it just the angle that makes them look shorter? I don't know. I think it should be symmetrical, though. I think everybody likes some symmetry. So I'm going to take these and go back just a wee bit. Then we're going to edit mode on this one, and then control left click on that one. Then we're going to do our knife project with mesh, knife project. So we got that. Whoop, hit period, get back there. And let's go ahead and hide this. We can call this maybe our rear cutter. Rear cutter. Let's get rid of that. Just as a reminder of what that was for. Hide. And now we got this going. And let's go into X-ray mode. Let's turn off merge. Don't want to accidentally merge anything here. Okay. You know what? I think we're going to need more circles. Yeah, so I'm going to Control Z, get before the knife project. Think we're going to need a few more circles to get this where I want it. So I'm thinking Shift D to duplicate. Get another circle a little bigger. We'll get another circle a little smaller. And then we'll do the same for this. A little bigger. A little smaller. There is a method to my madness, I promise you. And let's go ahead and Shift D on these. And then we will snap it to the center point here. That's exactly. And then let's go ahead and clean this up to merge those circles. Okay, so let's now, with these extra circles, let's knife project again. So edit mode for that, and then control left click for that. Mesh, knife project. Alright, so I think this is a bit more doable. Let's hide that, get back in here, and now what we're going to do is take this middle edge for both of them, and then we're gonna, you know what we should do? We should bridge those edge loops, I think. Let's get rid of these faces here. We should probably bridge all these edge loops. I don't think the middle one matters, but I think I guess that one doesn't really matter either. You know what, I'm gonna go into faces mode. We're already in faces mode. Alright. Don't need the middle one. And we're gonna delete those faces. And then over here, we're gonna go into edge mode and select these. Oop. Let's get those back. Select these, then I'll right click and bridge those edge loops. And then I'm gonna deselect. Will this be faster? Select those, deselect those, and then bridge those edge loops. I think it'll be cleaner if we do it this way. Those, get rid of these. Right click, bridge those edge loops, and then do the same over here. Oop. Get rid of those, up. Alright, right click, bridge those edge loops. Alright, and then do the same over here. Bridge. Bridge. those, right click, bridge edge loops. Oh, deselect these, deselect those, and then right click, bridge edge loops. Alright, now we can select this edge, these guys in here, and now we'll go GX and then suck that in a bit to create that effect. That looks kind of like bullets or batteries or something. Probably batteries more than bullets on this one. It looks like they're kind of sunken too. A little bit. That's okay. So let's select these then. Let's get all these and this guy, this guy, and then we can GX and sync that in a bit. It's about where we want to be, I think. I think. Well, it's looking pretty good. Alright then. And I kind of want to bevel those edges just a tiny bit. No, I don't like to have sharp edges. That should be plenty. That should be plenty enough of that. Okay. Now we can... Thinking extrude, but we have this plate here, so I guess we'll just extrude this top bit. Not you. Select anything else. And we can take it up front. GX. And we'll go around there. Maybe we can even snap it here. GX. And so we got that shape going. And now we have this bit that seems to protrude. So maybe let's go ahead and subdivide here. Bring this back. GX. I'll put a face here. And then we can maybe take this guy and extrude him up to here. Because then we have a diagonal. Oops. Wait. This is goes inside, right? Yeah, and we have this recess here as well. And this is more round than angular. So that's something to keep in mind. Hit period on numpad and let's go up to here. Say that's up there. Let's get X-ray mode on. So where does that curve start? Starts like just under that point. So that's about where it does. So let's extrude over here like so. And then kind of goes up over here maybe. And then GY to bring it back out. And we have a little iron sight over here that we're going to want to get. We'll go up. And we'll fiddle with that a little more later. Let's get this curvature going. So I think we'll flatten it out just a bit. And then we will bevel. That's pretty much it, I think. And we'll worry about knife projecting these holes in it in a little while. Let's see. This is all very plain in here, so we can probably just add some faces on that. So we might have to do the sight now too. And I imagine the sight doesn't go back very far. It does not. It stops way over here. So for now, let's just subdivide over here. Bring this back, and we can make that sight. So it goes over. Let's get our edge links so we can actually see what we're doing here. Go down, over, can't, well, actually, if it was a traditional site, wait, this does have that, which is weird, because usually there's two prongs in the back and then one in the front, and you line those up, but this one seems to have several, and then also an attachment rail with another sight. That is a little awkward, but maybe this is just an attachment rail and it's not actually a sight at all? Because there's a big screw out here that would kind of interfere a little bit, and this back bit makes no sense to me, but I am no gun expert. Well, I guess we'll just follow. We are making a replica after all, so what they say goes, goes. Here, kind of reminds me of the Eruptor build and the very awkward place they decided to put the bolt, but whatevs. What is this? Oh, let's turn that off. That's what was doing that. And let's go ahead and snap that up here. And then we'll hit the middle by snapping GYing, and then snapping that there. Alright, now we can just fill in this face. F. There we go. Another chunk completed. Is that just flat? Does it go inward at all? It does look pretty flat. It doesn't like diagonally incline at any level. Okay. Well, that's that part. Now, we can get rid of these. I think that would be a safe move. Boop. And then we have the attachment rail, but that goes onto this inner piece here. Okay. How are we gonna do this now? So you have this curvature out here. I guess we can just take this. Let's deselect these guys. And even that. And then Shift D. We'll just snap that over here. Here, and let's merge this. Auto merge, and we'll just manually snap that on there. And let's close this up. And then we can get these points and deselect this guy, and then we'll right click and bridge those edge loops. So we got that going, and then we have this, which, let's see what kind of levels these things are on. So that just goes straight ahead. That might incline inwardly right there. Let's try to confirm. does look like it might have a bit of an incline there. Yeah. It's looking more and more like it. So that top chunk goes in. Not sure why, but it is not our duty to ask why. It is our duty to replicate with accuracy. So we will right click on this and subdivide. What? Maybe not. Maybe not. Control Z, I undo that. This is, this edge is on the outside of that, right? Yeah. I think that might have something to do with this curve, maybe? That's a bit awkward, but I think we've done a fair bit right now, so I'm going to go ahead and take a break.